Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we are continuing with the Ar-Adunaim faction, with the faction overview of the Ar-Adunaim. And we're gonna just dive straight in, and as you see, with the Ar-Adunaim, we don't have any starting region. As the Ar-Adunaim, you start as a horde faction. And that is to give you as player the complete freedom to do your conquest however you want, wherever you want. Just complete freedom as the Ar-Adunaim. You are the wild card of Middle-earth. With the background story of the Ar-Adunaim being Númenóreans who have survived the doom of Númenor, and well, we're kind of settled in colonies of Númenor spread around the ocean, and now joined together for under Ar-Gimmelkard, who has one specific goal, and that is to conquer, to reclaim Númenorian pride and continue the legacy of Ar-Pharazôn, because you are the followers of. You are against the faithful who sailed with Elendil to Middle-earth and established the realms of Gondor and Arnor. You were the followers of the of Ar-Pharazôn. If you start, you will see that your starting is a little bit different. I have grouped up the units and the three different armies together. When you start, you will see that both Lord Gimmelzor and Gimmelthorn will be in a separate army with each only one unit, being, I think, the Abrazania Narbudabweep. I think it's pronounced. I'm gonna slaughter these names so much. And I think Algimazor comes with these guys, the Narduzagar. I think that's pretty. I pronounce it pretty well. So you will have three armies, but the amount of troops is the same, and I've grouped them up together so you can see what the composition of your army will look like. Cause this is pre-scripted, so everyone gets the same. So from here on, it will be your adventure. So everything I'm gonna tell about the Ar-Adunaim is a little bit subjective to the region you will start. You can decide to go for Umbar and start your conquest here, and come from the south towards Gondor and Dol Amroth, and well, kind of play a regular Ar-Adunaim campaign. If the AI is playing for the Ar-Adunaim, they will start with Umbar, Ardumir, and Khaldun. They don't get Gobel Meerland in the auto expansion, so if you don't play the Ar-Adunaim, there is a possibility to fight for them, but that's not important for today. So a kind of regular play would be taking Umbar, taking Ardumir and Khaldun, and from there start your conquest. But the choice is all yours. If you want to decide to go to Mithlond and start your conquest from there, it's a possibility. If you want to take Mithlond and start your conquest from there, be my guest. If you want to start with, for example, take Isengard and start from the center of Middle-earth and expand to all directions, be my guest. The oyster is yours, and the oyster is yours. I think the the saying goes, just be my guest and do your thing. So for the sake of the rest of the overview, I'm going to take a settlement, and I think it's just gonna be Umbar, so I can continue to the building part of this game. So in just a minute, I will have conquered Umbar. Right, and now through the magic of editing, we have Umbar. And before we can start with the building browsers, I will start with the unique bodyguards of the faction, because all of your faction members have a unique bodyguard. Let's start with our Gimmelcard, who comes with a Naru Royal Guard. This is a regular elite unit, so this is not your generic generals unit, because that is slightly different and recognizable that it has a way less men in the battalion. The unit is called the Naru Household Guard, so not the Royal Guard. So our Gimmel card comes with an elite unit. Use them well. It is a spear unit, so it performs better when defending. But it's a good unit anyway. Then Gimmelthorn comes with Beruthiel's Watch, which is a crossbow unit. Very powerful, but kind of vulnerable in melee. We will see more about them in the second part of this overview. And last but not least, Lord Gimmelzor comes with Ar-Adunaim Armsmen, one of your elite sword and board units. Alright, as you see, we have here Zagarakor, and over here we have Indrazor. As the Ar-Adunaim, you start with a spy and a diplomat, because you don't have this starting region and this unique building where you can train your diplomat. You are granted with a diplomat at the start of the game. So wherever you go, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be able to train a diplomat right straight away, because you already can train one. So you have those things at your disposal as well. So you are really set to make your own conquest with the Ar-Adunaim. Right, then let's tick off my list. And the next thing in line is the family tree. And yes, you have a family tree. You are the descendants of Ar-Pharazôn, the royal Númenórean line. And you have a family tree. It's not huge. It's alright. It's bigger than most trees, I have to say. So at the top you have our Gimmelcard, who have two sons, Gimmelzor and Gimmelthorn, two daughters you can marry off, who have come of age. I think both have come of age, yes. And you have a few sons underneath, including an Pharazôn. But I think this one is... Oh, these two are born this turn, so you don't get these two. You just get the two women, your three generals, and Gimel Zagar. So ignore the other two. But you do have a family tree, which is always nice. Then continuing to expansion, geographical area, and the green books. Well, the green books, they are when you conquer city, this building. It's called a building, but it gives you information about the terrain, about the regions. So do note, the regions that are listed here are not the same as the mercenary pool regions. Those are two different things. So, but we don't have much to do with them in this overview, because this don't have to be your starting position. Then dealing with buildings, which is the same everywhere, but we have Umbar, so a few things are different. You have a regular recruitment line, so you have siege for your siege, you have a range for your missiles, you have a barracks for your infantry, and but do note you don't have stables, and that is because you do have cavalry, but I'm not sure where I can find them actually. I would say they are in here then. Where do I have my cavalry? These generals, you have a few corsairs in here. Where did I get? Oh yes, it's the unique buildings that gives you the ruins of the pillar, and I think it's unique. It's not unique to Umbar. I think every unique building allows you to train your only cavalry unit. The Narunaru Royal Knights. Also the guards come from there. So I think only in those places you can train them. Oh, I should have a look at these. Require various. Yeah, so I think it are the unique buildings who are dotted around. So, for example, in Final Bell you have the palace. In Gondor you have, I think it's the White Tree, but I'm not sure. In Dol Amroth you have the Tirith Ayar. So the unique buildings allows you to train your most elite troops, the Narnaru units. Except for the bodyguard that just comes from the meeting hall. So, normal recruitment, but you don't have any cavalry, and that's why you don't have stables. The Numenorians were quite famous for not being an cavalry folks nation. Just like the dwarves, actually. You do have siege equipment all the way up to the siege works, where you can train trebuchets. So in that opinion, you are like Gondor, the Gondorians, just like the blacksmith, all the way up to the Numenorian armorer. Also in line with the Dunedain factions and the ports. You get all the way up to the dockyard, but because we have conquered Umbar, there's an extra tier. There are only two places where this extra tier appears. That's in Umbar, which gives the Black Haven, and in Mithlond, which gives... I'm not sure how it's called. Oh, we can... The Haven, just the Haven. The Haven of Mithlond. So, the fourth tier of port are only available in two places. You are not restricted in any other way, so you do have full access to food production, I would say. Although something tells me that there is a fifth tier, but I'm not sure. All the way up to the trade routes, the highest tier of routes, which not every faction has access to. From the human faction, I think it are only the Dunedain factions that have access. And the dwarven factions has all the way up to the third tier. So you are one of the few who does have so. Livestock is regular. Mines are regular as well. There is something else I wanted to give attention to, but I'm not sure whether you do have access to it actually. Apparently not. No, you don't. Right. Well, let's continue with the guilds. You have 3 of them. The Warriors Guild, who everyone have access to. The first tier, just speed up replenishment, apparently. The second tier give also training to the Ar-Adunaim armsmen, which is actually pretty useful, way more useful than most fighters guilds. So you do have some use of them. Also, you have access to the Merchant Guild. First tier, increased tradable goods, which will boost your income, and the second tier gives you access to 1 merchant. And also the Warriors. Oh, the Warriors Guild is most of the time useless. The Fighter's Pit is like, I don't think many human factions have access to the Fighter's Pit. The Warriors Guild, that's in my opinion pretty useless building, and it's not different from for you. First tier melee weapon bonus, which is alright, I guess, and a second tier morale bonus, which is, it doesn't add that much actually. It's not great. It's not game changing. It's not. It's so little that's for they could have left it out and nobody would see the difference in my personal opinion. Then going to your culture building, you have the Dark Shrines because you're the Kingsmen. And you are the only faction that have this culture. So everywhere you come, you will need to build up your culture before you can train troops. And I hear you saying, why would I go anywhere else than, for example, these 3 regions who do have a base culture of the Kingsmen? And I will explain that later. So first tier, just culture. Second tier, already happiness, which is, in my opinion, a really good extra bonus. And the third tier giving more happiness and the melee weapon bonus, which is really useful actually. It makes the Warriors Guild even more worthless, in my opinion. So try to build it up. It has some good bonuses. Like everyone else, you have entertainment, 2 tiers, town hall, garrison building, town held. So we come to the last and, well, a very important feature of the Ar-Adunaim, which is the auxiliary outpost. And this is what's gonna save your bacon if you decide to settle somewhere else than, well, your cultured regions. The auxiliary outpost allows you to train certain units of another faction, which a faction that would call those the lands you conquer their homeland. You will be able to train a few of them. So we are in the Haradrim Wastelands, and so here you will find Haradrim units, giving you access to the Haradrim archers, southern lancers, and southern pikemen. But it comes at a price. When you settle there, you see yourself as the conquerors of those worlds, and everyone else are your minions. And you enlist them in your army, willingly or by force. And at this first tier, you really see that in the negatives of this building. So in the first tier, you have a minus 80% public order due happiness and a minus 30% due law. It does increase tradable goods and has a base income, just to give you that edge of some income. But it are some pretty hefty negatives. Really displaying that the warriors you train are forced in your army. If you then have the second tier, the barracks of true sons, giving you more units, but change side effects. So So instead of the income, the tradable goods, the negatives of public order, this building says that the people have accepted your rule, have are volunteering in the army. So they have a small morale bonus and allows you to get 2 free upkeeps, which is really useful because it's cumulative to your town hall. So it gives a good amount of free upkeep. And as you see for this region, besides the units you were already able to train, you get also access to the Hashari Blades. But now there is a certain culture penalty. And I think that is the case with all cities you conquered. The first tier is free. You get access to certain troops to give you that extra edge early games. If you decide, for example, to go to Karasan, conquer that, you will be surrounded by enemies because Dorwinion will come for you, Dale will come for you, the Arrowboy might come for you, Rhun might come for you, so you have enemies all around, and this building gives you the possibility to train some troops early tier when you don't have the culture for your own troops. You don't have access to the Corsairs, because in the meeting hall you will see Corsairs only 5% culture bonus, but I think they are restricted to coastal regions. Yes, coastal regions. So if, for example, Kherson is a coastal region because it's at the Sea of Rhun, but here all the way up in Isengard, which is in my opinion a really interesting starting position, you don't have access. It means that you have to build your culture up to 15%, I think. 25, well, 15 for the Azahir warriors, but they might be coastal as well, yes. So you need 25% culture before you can train anything. And on that point, you're happy that you will have the conscription camp that allows you to train certain units. Do note, I think it only applies on human units. So if you take Isengard, there's no guarantee that you will have access to Isengard units. I think Isengard will have the same pool as Dunland, so you will get the landing units. But it could be Rohirric units. I'm not 100% sure about it. The units do depend on where you settle and how they have filled it in the backhand in the files. But you will always get a certain set of units. I think it is said that the first tier gives low tier, so militia tier units. I think 2 militia tier, 1 trash tier, as you see here. Ar-Adunaim archers are trash tier, and the other tier are militia tier units. But it could funnel around from region to region. I could enlist every unit that you can train everywhere, but that will be a hell of a work. And also, it would be unnecessarily much. It would make the overview unnecessarily long. Well, that's about the conscription camp and the auxiliary outpost. You don't have any unique buildings, but you, except for the Tarbert Bridge, so you can rebuild the Tarbert Bridge, which gives you also access to the Naru units. So as you see, the unique buildings gives you access to those units. So do keep that in mind for when you take settlements. Alright, then going to diplomacy. Diplomacy is quite easy. To give you really that a wild card feeling. You have no enemies except for the rebels, because everybody are enemies with the rebels. So that is your only enemy, and will always be your enemy. So we can be short about that. Any scripts? Well, there are no scripts. When you don't play the Ar-Adunaim, you will see that there will be an invasion script on the High Elves by the Ar-Adunaim, but because you are playing, that script does not apply. So you don't have to deal with the Elven invasion, with the invasion on the Elven lands. You don't have to deal with any scripts whatsoever. As for the ring script, I think you are aligned to be evil, so you can deliver the ring to Mordor, and then Sauron will return. But as the Ardenaim, but that is because you need to be one of the two, either destroy Sauron or work together with them. And since the Ardenaim are created by the hatred against Gondor and against especially against the elves, because of the story with Ar-Pharazôn, the development team has set them as aligned with Sauron. So that is the campaign side of the Ar-Adunaim. I will see you in the battle map side of the Ar-Adunaim in just a second. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the battle map side of the Ar-Adunaim. It seems like a glimpse for you, but it cost me actually quite some time, because I had one crash and I made 2 times a mistake, and therefore I had to reload it, so it took me quite some time, but through the magic of editing, and just a couple of seconds. And in a quick overview, we see right away that we have decent options as infantry, alright options in the missile department, but in the cavalry department we have only one option, and it's all the way up in the back, so it's a pretty elite unit. But it's our only unit, and that is the second time the conscription camp will come in handy, because we do have a secondary army with a few options in the cavalry department. So I have, for the reinforcing army, I have picked a few units of different nations. So we have Baroon Raiders of Khand, we have Arulad Cavalry of Rhun, we have some Freckling Riders of Dunland, we have some Dale Cavalry, some Southern Lancers, more Variacs, some Aored skirmishers, so we have some Rohan in here, Watchman Bogart, Regent Bogart, so you also see that there are really decent troops amongst the conscription units. I think this is a unit that will come in the second tier, just like the Bogart, I think. We have more like fishermen, Balkan trapsmen, militia archers, Norman archers, those are the Dalian archers. We have southern pikemen, thralls, Daratai warriors, Angmar infantry, Gondor militia. So there's a wide variety on troops you have at your disposal if you decide to build the auxiliary outposts, it's called. But on our own roster, let's dive in with the first units, which are the crusader units. Starting with the crusader raiders, with an attack of 4, charge of 3, total defense of 5, which the majority is in defense skills. These are, well, terrible units actually. They're here to die. while other units do the heavy lifting. They're here to to pin down certain enemies, to slow down enemy elites, and actually they are there to die. They have poor morale, impetuous morale responses. They deal with shocks really well, but their base morale is poor, so they're not great. They have 10% movement bonus and, well, bonus in barren and wastelands, so that's also the desert. And they don't like the snow. And they only come from coastal regions. They have an archer variant, to which we will turn first to. The Corsair archers with a 2 melee attack, a 2 missile attack, a 3 charge, and a 4 defense. Well, they look way much worse than the raiders, but they have a bow, so they have a use. And they have poor morale, impetuous morale response, same bonuses as the raiders, 10% movement bonus. They have 80 missiles, 150 meter range, and a low accuracy, so not that great. Then we have two other units. They are actually in between units, but I put them to the trash line units because they look more like trash units than militia tier. And those are the Azra Zahir units. Starting with the Azra Zahir warriors. It's a strike unit, early tier strike unit with a 7 attack, 7 charge, 7 defense, armor piercing, frighten nearby enemies, average morale, impetuous morale response, slightly faster than other units. Just a decent strike infantry. Especially early tier, they will do the business. But they also come from coastal regions. They have also a missile variant, the Azra Zahir crossbowman, 5 attack, 7 missile attack, armor piercing, 3 charge, 6 defense, average morale, impetuous morale response, 5% movement bonus, 26 missiles, 140 meter range, and average accuracy. So these are really in between units. And also these require coastal regions. So these are kind of your Corsair coastal units. And they will be useful if you are able to train them. But they are not great. We have better options. But they are mostly more defensive like in the militia tier unit. Starting with the Rosodon footmen. We are in the Rosodon line. They have an 4 attack, 5 charge, 15 defense, and there you see that they are definitely better than the low tier units. They can make shield wall, not that important, but a nice feature. Skilled against mounts, average morale response, no movement bonus, bonus against all mounts, just a decent spear unit. They have a supporting unit, being the Rosodon Halberdiers, which is an halberdier unit. Important with halberdier units, they are not as good in the animation as pike units, but most of them are armor piercing. And that's not different with the Rosodon Halberdiers, with an attack of 4, charge of 4, defense of 10, armor piercing, skilled against mounts. They have a special bonus against the Amarothian Swan Cavalry, which includes the Royal Swan Guard and the Royal Swan Cavalry, so the elite of Dol Amrod. No movement bonus, average morale response. Just a good early tier halberdier unit. And nice to have on your side. I'll also put the Harandon mercenaries in. I can do them right away. 7 attack, 5 charge, 15 defense, armor piercing, average morale response, no movement bonus. So nice additional strike unit. And that is where you see the difference with, for example, the Azrazair warriors, who have same stats in the offensive part, but really lack in the defensive part. On the missile side, we start with the Rohan Bowman. With 3 melee attack, 3 missile attack, 3 charge, 9 defense. They are a direct upgrade of the Corsairs. And they have average morale response, 24 missile, 170 meter range, average accuracy. So good militia tier archers. We can compare them with the militia and with the Gondor militia archers, but I will do that at the end of the overview so you can compare these two. We have one last, well, Azrazair unit, which you would say come in this tier, but these are significantly better. So they are more on the militia tier, and they are the Azrazair Mariners, with a melee attack of 11, a missile attack of 8, which is armor piercing because it are javelins, charge of 8, 13 defense. You see straight away why I didn't put them in the trash tier units like the crossbows and the warriors. So the Mariners definitely better. They're effective against armor. I think when they are done, they are just a sword and board unit, but I might be wrong. They might be also an axe unit, but I could be wrong in that. Skilled against mounts, effective against armor, good morale, impetuous morale response, slightly faster than other units, 3 missiles, 60 meter range, high accuracy, bonus against mounts, a good javelin unit actually. And I think they only come from coastal regions, yes. So these units you won't get when you start, for example, in Isengard. But you do get them when you start in Tharbad, Karasand, Mistrand, Dale, if you want to go there. Because they have major rivers or sea. So, or lakes in case of Rhun. But if you get more land inwards, you won't get these units. Then going to your mainstream unit, and please don't let me say it of all of them. I will do my best. The Ar-Adunaim Nardu Zagar. I'm pretty alright with that. The Ar-Adunaim Nardu Tariq. And the Ar-Adunaim and Nardu Babib. I think that I pronounced that pretty alright. And we start with these guys, the Nardu Tariq, because they are a sword and board unit, but they are an armor piercing sword and board unit, because they have these mace-like things. You can better see it from sideways. They have maces and not swords. So they have a 5 attack, armor piercing, 5 charge, 19 defense, good morale response, no movement bonuses. Just plain and simple sword and board unit, but armor piercing. Then they are supported by a more offensive unit, the Nardu Zagar, with a 14 attack, a 7 charge, a 15 defense. So a little bit more attack, a little bit less defense. Furthermore, they look quite similar. Good morale response, no movement bonus. Just a good mainstream strike infantry. Then last but not least, we have the Nardu Babib. I always struggle with this one. The others are pretty good to pronounce, but these Nardu Babib, I think I still slaughter it, but doesn't matter. 6 melee attack, 6 missile attack, 5 charge, 17 defense, good morale response, 30 missiles, 190 meter range, high accuracy. Just a direct upgrade of the Rohan Bowmen. So try to train, not you, these guys over the Rohans. Especially the high accuracy is, in my opinion, together with the range, really valuable. The raw damage is, or in my opinion, it doesn't matter that much. If you can't hit them, you won't damage them. If the enemy outrange you, you can't shoot, they kill you. So the raw stats are nice, but it are the range and the accuracy that do it for me. That defines a good archer. Then we go to our elites. I just put them in one group of elites. You might consider, I think, these more uber elites, but yeah, I just didn't want to make much of a difference in there. And I think I start with the pikemen, because they are, yes, they are not restricted and you can train them in the barracks. So the Ar-Pharazôn's Faithful, more defensive unit. 5 attack, 5 charge, 22 defense. But they are a pike unit, so triple the attack to get the animation included. Excellent morale, good morale spawns, bonus against mounts. Not much to say, just a really good pike unit. But vulnerable to archers, like all the pike units. Then we also have a sword and board unit. And this is the bodyguard of Gimmelzorm, the Ar-Adunaim armsman, with a 12 attack, 6 charge, 28 defense, excellent morale, impetuous morale spawns. Just a really good sword and board unit. But restricted, I just seen, because they only come from coastal regions. So be careful, so watch out for that. They don't come more in the center of the country. Then last but also a really good unit, the Narana Royal Guard, the bodyguard of our Gimmelkad, with an attack of 11, 6 charge, 31 defense. Decent. The defense stats are equally shared in the different stats, so I really like that. Excellent morale and locked, so watch out for this. Gimmelkad cannot withdraw from the battlefield. He will fight to the death. Good morale spawns, no movement bonuses, but a bonus against all mounts. And then we have the Beruthiel's Watch. And this is the bodyguard of Gimmelthorn. Powerful, I think a really good crossbow unit. With an 8 melee attack, a 12 missile attack, which is also armor piercing. So really good against well armored units. 7 charge, 13 defense, but again, vulnerable against archer fire. Very good morale response, slightly faster than other units, 26 missiles, 180 meter range, and a very high accuracy. So do note, your Nardubawips have a better range than your Beruthiel Guard, but the accuracy of your Beruthiel Watch is better. Then going to your only cavalry unit, the Narunaru Royal Knights, which is an anti-cavalry cavalry, so you don't have any strike cavalry, you only have anti-cavalry cavalry, with a 10 attack, 8 charge, 26 defense. They are really good cavalry unit, but not meant to charge into enemies, but more to take out enemy cavalry. They frighten nearby infantry, powerful charge, very good morale, good morale response. They do have a few more negatives on the terrain, but it doesn't impact your game that much. And as I said, they are an anti-cavalry cavalry, so they have a bonus against horses. And just because they are not dealt with that often, I have the trebuchet, and the trebuchet is, well, much like the catapult, but I think the range is slightly longer with 320 meters, and they have the carcass option, which decrease the morale of enemy, if I'm right. So not that interesting stat, especially the defensive ones, because that are just from the crew members. And as promised, I would make a comparison with the Rotterdam bowmen and the militia archers, and I think they are amongst here. These are those guys. So 3, 3, 3 and 9 and 24 missiles, 170-meter range and average accuracy. Well, they have a little bit more charge, the militia, archer militia, a little bit less defense. I think their range is better, but they have less missiles. Yeah, so the range is worse. So overall, the residents are slightly better. But the militia are better than the corsairs. So we have corsairs as worse, archer militia, and resident bowmen. Alright. I'm gonna handle over everything to the AI. Except for the trebuchets. I want to really try to do something with them. And give them to the AI. And let us see what faction we will be dealing with next episode. I will try to do a back-to-back recording because I have some days off, and I will try to finish this series within my holidays, so I can upload them every week, but I do have the recordings finished. See some white in there, which should be quite a giveaway. We have some. It's black. It's actually blue. We also already seen a few units of them. I see also some brown and blue banners, and that should be the biggest giveaway together with the white. It is Angmar with the wargs, the war cavalry, and the human infantry, which is switched, not this version, but the version before. I see my allies also forming up, which is... Oh, are they already fighting? They are already fighting. We have Eored cavalry. You also have some Rohirrim amongst the Rohan options, and some peasant peasant scouts, which is also a horse unit. You see, the trebuchets are not great against units. They are not meant to fight against units. They have caught Brutal Watch. It's annoying. And also the Nadubabi. I think they were caught on this side. Yeah. By the Guardians of Khazad-Dûm. Yeah, you don't want to fight them as a missile unit. They're not funny. think I have good luck against the halberdiers. They are a pretty tanky unit. Fight against them in my... oh, that is terrible. I fought against them in my Ar-Adunaim campaign, but they are really, really tanky. Not liking them. Are you joking? They are Are these guys dying? I'll let you... I will... I may hope so. I have 2 army. Oh, what the hell? Oh, that is at least something.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Dark Blaze, very good unit actually. I did really like them in my Angmar campaign. Didn't use them that often, I think. Yeah, great. Great, those trebuchets. Alright, that was the battle already. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, please leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you soon in another video of Divide and Conquer. But until then, goodbye.